Hi, this is T with teaquilts, and I'm back with another Scrapbuster quilt block. And this time I'm working with the Take 5 block. Traditionally, the Take 5 quilt pattern is made with 5 pieces of fabric. But I'm in the process of going through my fabrics, and I'm pulling all of my older Christmas prints or novelty prints that I feel I can't use anywhere else, and putting them into a scrap quilt for the Take 5. The Take 5 quilt is named Take 5, number 1, because it uses 5 fabrics, and number 2, because it has 5 fabric pieces in the block. So this is the block here, and it starts with an 8.5 inch cut square, and then you have 3 4 1/2 inch cut squares, and then one piece that's 4 1/2 by 8 1/2. But I cut that with my studio die cutter. I have the Take 5 die, and you can see how it's cutting out the 3 4 1/2 inch squares, 1 4 1/2 by 8 1/2 inch rectangle, and then 1 8 1/2 inch square. And then this is how the other side of the die looked, just in case you're wondering. I actually marked my die with a Sharpie silver marker, and then that way I put placement lines. I'll just show it. I put placement lines here so I can know where to line my fabric up so that I could get all of my fabric cuts. And then I marked also that I would need to have a 14 inch square to place on this die to cut. So once I cut everything, I had stacks of fabrics like that. So I had my 4 1/2 by 8 1/2 inch rectangles, 4 1/2 inch squares, and then my 8 1/2 inch squares. So from there, you just take one block, and you've got a couple of ways that you can actually piece it. You can put 2 pieces at the bottom, rectangle here, and then let me get another fabric, and then a different piece, and then a different piece at the top. Okay. Or you can piece 3 down here and 1 up there. You can decide. Also, when I was quilting, I tried to make sure if I had any directional prints that was in that one block that I orientated everything in the same direction of the block. Not necessarily up this way, but if it was all going this way, make sure everything was orientated. And sometimes the rectangle fabric will dictate that because it can't be turned. So here's the original block that I pieced, where I've got the 2 squares here, the 3rd one up there, rectangle over there, and then here's the optional way that it can be pieced with the 8 inch block, 8 inch by 4 1/2 inch rectangle, and then the 3 squares are over here. And this is what I'm talking about when I'm saying about orienting all the fabrics alike. I'm going to zoom in so I can show you. But you see, this snowman's right side up, snowman body here, then there's a bird up there, and then another snowman here. So within the block itself, I just made sure everything was orientated to the rectangle fabric in the block. Now I have about 40 blocks that I've already pieced, and I've got a lot more here that I've cut. So I'm not sure how many blocks I have for the quilt yet at this point, because I haven't counted. I just cut fabric. And so I'm just going to piece these blocks, and then I'll just show you where I have 20 on my design wall already set up. Okay, I'm in my Actually, I'm in my storage room using my design wall there, and I can't zoom out to get the entire quilt blocks, but this is 12 blocks set in 4 by 5, and it kind of looks like a yellow brick road quilt to me. And I can piece these together like this, and I'm also going to play with the idea of putting like a very small sashing in between each block just to give it some space. And I do notice that some of my blocks are on the design wall upside down, but this was just to lay out so that you can see what it is that I'm working on. And here's one of my sideways blocks. But when I piece these, I will make sure that any novelty prints that are directional are right side up. And that will determine how I set these blocks as well. So thanks for watching. I hope you make this project, and I will see you in the next video.